In this video, we are going to be talking about PERT and interest and how to calculate simple interest. So for simple interest, you're going to need to know this equation right here, which is interest equals principal multiplied by your rate multiplied by your time. And remember that when letters are touching, it means that they are multiplying, that there is an invisible multiplying sign in between them. And if we break each letter down, P stands for your principal. I like to say P stands for price because it also starts with P. Seems a little easier to remember. But your principal is the price that you're going to be paying for something. It's the price that it's starting out at. The I stands for interest. And what interest is it's extra money you have to pay someone for borrowing a certain amount of money. And a rate is what R stands for, is an interest rate, which is going to be a percent. Now, it is important to remember that when you are using the percent, that you do not use its percent form when multiplying, that you use either the decimal or the fraction form of the percent when you are multiplying. So if it was 8%, you would not use 8, you would use 0.08 as your R, okay? And the interest rate is the percentage by which your interest is increasing. And then T stands for time. Keep in mind that it is specifically measured in years. So if it gives you something in days or months, you have to turn that into years, because the T has to be years in order for it to work. Now, if you were trying to find something other than just the interest, this is how you would calculate a total price and or a monthly payment. So this equation right here, I equals PERT, just gives you the interest that you will be paying. It does not give you the total price. So if you wanted to find the total price, you would need to first calculate the interest, and then you would need to take your interest and add it to your principal amount, or the P. And then that would give you the total price of the thing you're buying, including the interest. And if you wanted to find the monthly payment, you would take your total price once you've calculated it, and then you would divide that total price by the amount of months that you will be making the payment, which can be represented by your years multiplied by 12, because there's 12 months in a year. And that would give you your monthly payment. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, what you're finding, how many steps you need to do. So let's go ahead and start with this first one. If I have a car loan for $12,000 with a 6% interest rate over 8 years. So first off, we're going to label everything so I know what it is when I plug it into my equation. So that this right here is going to be my P, $12,000. So we have my 6%, which is going to be my R. But we're going to want to make sure we don't use 6. We want to use its decimal form, which would be 0.06. And if you don't know how to change a percent into a decimal, you just divide it by 100. And then our time is already in years. And this is our T. So we don't need to change it because it's already in years. Now, I equals PERT. What we do is we just multiply P times R times T. So in your calculator, you just take 12,000 multiplied by your rate, which is 0.06, and multiply it by your time, which is 8. So if we go ahead and use our calculator and just multiply those together, we get 5,760. Now keep in mind, this is not the total price, this is just the interest. So you will be paying an extra $5,760 in interest. So if you wanted to figure out the total price you would be paying, you would take your P and you would add it to your interest. That would give you your total price. Okay, so we would take $12,000 We would add our interest, which is $5,760, and that gives us $17,760. So the total price of your car would be $17,760. Now, if you wanted to use that to calculate what your monthly payment would be, we would take that total price and we would divide it by however many months you'd be paying. We are paying 8 years, so we need to figure out how many months are in 8 years. If we do 8 times 12, that gives us 96. So you're doing 17,760 divided by 96, because that's how many times we'd be paying for this car. And that gives us 185. So that means your monthly payment, now this is not 100% exact, it's an estimate, is about $185 a month would be your monthly payment for your $17,000 car. And that is how you calculate interest. We can go ahead and do one more example. So we got $10,000. This is going to be my principal. We got 7%. This is going to be my rate. We're going to want to change this into a decimal, so it would be 0.07, just divided by 100. We have 60 months. This is my time, but we need to change it into years. So if you're given something that's already in months, you need to divide it by 12. That will change it into years. So if we do 60 divided by 12, this gives us 5. So when we're plugging in t, we're going to want to make sure that we don't type in 60, but that we type in 5. Okay, so when we're calculating our interest, we need to do 10,000 multiplied by our rate, which is 0.07, multiplied by our time, which is 5. And we're not doing 60 because it has to be in years. Now, let's go ahead and multiply that together. So if we do 10,000 times 0.7%, multiplied by 5, we get 3,500. Again, this just represents your interest. It does not represent the total price of something. So if we wanted to find the total price, we would take our 10 grand and add our interest, which would give us $13,500 as our total price. And we already know the amount of months, so if we wanted to calculate the amount of months, then we would just take this price, which is our $13,500, and we would divide it by 60. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened to my screen here. Give it just a second. Here we are. Add our 3,500, that gives us 13,500. And then if we want to calculate our monthly payment, we take our 13,500 and divide it by the amount of months I'm paying. It already told me at the beginning that that was going to be 60 months, so we can just divide that by 60. So if we take 13,500 divided by 60, we get $225. And that is about your monthly payment. And that is how you calculate simple interest.